wait for a few seconds. Hi, hello everyone. It's midnight here in India, but the energy is same like the sun is up. It's very exciting. So let me introduce myself first. I'm Bhavna, Digital Marketing Executive at Planet Test, and I'm delighted to welcome you all to this insightful session at TestMu 2024. Today's talk is going to explore a fascinating journey that you might find relatable. We are about to dive into can a tester make a good product owner? If you ever wondered how a seasoned QA can transition into a product owner role or why it's such a challenging shift, you're in the right place. Our speaker of the session, Hristina Koleva, brings 18 years of experience in QA and product roles, and today she'll share her journey from a very senior QA to a very junior product owner. She'll explain how her testing skills have helped her become a better product owner and what she had to unlearn along the way. Histina will also discuss how testers and product owners can better collaborate, why your product owner is your best friend and should be your best friend, and many more things in this session. Feel free to ask questions in the Q&A chat during the session, and we'll address all the questions toward the end of the session. Histina, the series is yours.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. It's a huge pleasure to be here. Apparently, this is indeed the largest event for the global testing and tech community. Yes, I will not introduce myself furthermore because our friend did a great job about it. I've been in the testing for and in the industry for 18 years. Just reported something around 5,000 bucks probably, and I've never worked with a great product owner. I wondered why, and in the last several years, I've been transitioning into a product role because I kind of liked it better. It's more exciting for me to be on the front of the process, and I have probably not so much of a luck to work in organizations where most of the time testing was at the end of the process. So product ownership for me is really exciting, but it was not an easy journey. And I'll tell you more about it. And today we will talk about relationships, actually. We will talk about the relationships in the team between the product owner and the development team. We will talk where some sources of disputes originate from, why many teams think that their product owners are not good enough. I'll share with you some tips and what could be the first small steps to finding the harmony in the team. How testing skills really helped me to be a better product owner. And I hope that will be the most important thing you remember from the presentation. And I'll share with you my vision about a good product owner to share with your product owners when you go back at work tomorrow. All right, what are the usual complaints? For all these 18 years, I have worked with 13 different teams, and it's really fascinating that they all have common complaints. The teams complain from the product owners, and the product owners complain from the teams for the same reasons. Different countries, different size, different maturity level, different products of the teams. We all complain about the same things. What are the usual complaints? The team often complains about product owners. First of all, we always complain about changing priorities, even though for 25 years already all companies brag about being agile, flexible, working in dynamic environments, being comfortable with uncertainty and responding and reacting to change. It turns out we're not that comfortable at all. It turns out changing priorities and are not something we're ready for, and the ways we work doesn't make us feel confident in reacting to change so quickly. The team often complains that the product owners are not technical enough. Let me know in the chat later if you have heard this. It's a fact. Many product owners are not technical enough because the product role doesn't originate from a developer or from a tester. Very rarely. Okay, maybe I'm an exception, but very rarely it originates from someone with a development background. Typically, product owners are someone with a domain background, someone in the particular type of business and understanding the particular type of business we're working for. Product owners write poor user stories. They don't have acceptance criteria. They don't know how to articulate the customer needs and the business problem well enough. And there's a reason for that. And the reason is that I call it user story drama, or the fixation about fitting a requirement into one sentence. It's not physically possible. I'll tell you how to fix that. On the other side, the product owners also complain. They complain that the team don't understand the domain and that they cannot see the value in their requirements, and they always prefer to work on something more technical rather than solving the actual business issues. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you have a product review column in your Kanban board right before the ticket gets to done? If you have a product review column on your Kanban board, remove it, because this product review column enables the team to believe that the domain knowledge is not their job, and there will always be someone at the end of the process to validate their work. We are withholding the possibility for the team to actually learn the domain by making someone else, the product owner or a business analyst, to review the work and to say, yes, this fits for the domain. This should happen upfront during refinement meetings, not at the end of the process. My favorite one is when the product owners complain that the teams lack sense of urgency. And I've heard this several times. They lack sense of urgency. They don't know what the deadline is. They always spill over user stories for the next sprint. Yes, if the product owner writes poor user stories and don't have proper acceptance criteria, and they don't give the team proper and enough time to refine and discuss and consider all the technical and quality concerns and risk, apparently there will be things we didn't think about, and there will be always things to move for the next sprint. And the team always underestimate. Same reason. You didn't articulate properly that there is a need for urgency and importance for that user story. You didn't give proper time to the team to refine the user story, and to expect it to happen within the sprint. Also, something that came from Scrum. Scrum let us procrastinate. If you have 3 weeks to deliver working software, it will take you 3 weeks to deliver working software. You need to manage the work day by day and keep the team focused on one thing at a time if you want to enable continuous delivery. I haven't seen a Scrum team doing continuous delivery in my career. If you are a Scrum team and you do continuous delivery and you're capable of deliver really SAP whenever the thing is done, and not wait for 3 weeks to release it, please share in the chat how you do that. What are the sources of those disputes? Well, it's a clash of the mindset between the development team, including the testers, and the product owners. And with the next slides, I will tell you what are the big differences in mindsets being a tester and being a product owner. First of all, facts versus assumptions. The first thing a tester is taught when they start their testing career is to never make an assumption. The assumption is a bad word. We never make the assumption that the thing works. We have to check it. We have to figure out more and more scenarios to make sure we've covered the most important ways of that thing to work or not to work. While the product owners bet on assumptions, testers work with facts. It's not working, it's a fact. Every bug, it's a fact. And it's very comfortable to work in that area of the development lifecycle where everything is a fact already. All decisions have been made already. You're just inspecting those decisions and validating whether they work or not. You're validating the facts, but it's still a fact that it's not working. And it's kind of it's very comfortable indeed. And the product owner is on the other side of the life cycle axis. We product owners work on the assumptions that maybe it will work. We think it should work like this. But unless we see our users using the feature for a while in their native environment, in their production environment, we will never know if that's our assumptions are actually valid. Going further, testers, the next thing testers are taught is to always have an expected result. It should work like this. Again, based on decisions taken before the testing started. While product owners need to develop a strategy. It might work like this. Let's give it a try. The tricky part is that the product owners need to develop such pragmatic, smart, incremental strategy so that the thing that might not work at the end and the assumptions that might turn out to be not so correct are very small parts of the entire development, and they can easily and fast get feedback on whether those assumptions are valid or not. Expected results, clear expected results versus strategies. Something that was one of the toughest thing for me to learn or to unlearn is to realize that there are indeed bugs we can live with, and some of those bugs are features. What do I mean by that? As a product, as a tester, as it said, I have reported like 5,000 bugs, and I have advocated and negotiated for each one of them. I wouldn't accept any bug to be left out as a tester. But then as a product owner, I had to prioritize fixing all these bugs that the testers find all the time versus progressing and delivering new features and new customer value. I felt like a traitor, but you cannot continuously fix bugs. You need to say it's good enough at a certain moment. What do I mean that some bugs are features? Some bugs need to be managed as features because they will take heavy refactoring, they will take a lot of retesting, and they hold and carry huge regression risks. So they will need a lot of regression testing as well. We cannot afford to just fix them. This is when, after 15 years, I actually realized what does it mean to work with a high priority, with a high severity and low priority bug. It's actually a very expensive technology improvement feature, and you need very good arguments to justify it. As a product owner, you need to keep the big picture, the business goals, the customer needs, the market targets. Where are we going with all these features? Where are we going with this product backlog? Why we have prioritized exactly those features versus another? How our customers will benefit from them? What the team will learn when they build these features, how it will enable new opportunities or possibilities for the business and the product. Business value versus perfection. When you have to consider all these factors and many more and compile them into a single number which represents the priority 1, 2, 3, then you realize that perfection and fixing all bugs is not a luxury. It's a waste. You don't need to fix all of them. You don't need to fix all of them also because unless you see your end user complaining about a small inconvenience that is very annoying for the testers, you would never know that it's also annoying for the end user, or maybe they don't even pay attention to it. So that was the big learnings, or some of them, when I started working in a product role. What to do then to mitigate some of these, a little bit of the friction between product owners and the team? What would be the first steps to finding harmony? First of all, we need to admit that not all teams all the time invent the wheel every day. Not all teams work on groundbreaking innovation every day. Most of us work on pretty trivial features every day. Every single piece of software has a login. Currently, most of the softwares collect data somewhere, integrate with different third-party vendors of data someplace else, and then create dashboards. This is every software right now. You know how to build this type of software. Maybe you don't really need the product owner to sign off 10 pages of requirements in very detailed manner in order to start working on typical and trivial features like that. And this is where to have in mind if you get into a situation where you have the so-called backlog starvation. Backlog starvation is when the product backlog has 300 items in it, but none of them are well refined, none of them are prioritized properly, none of them are ready for development, and the team has nothing to work on. Well, maybe some of these not well refined user stories are pretty clear. But if the organization has really separated the product from the tech team, then that organization fosters as I call it, it's not my job environment. But when there is an it's not my job environment, then there is also a backlog starvation. So have in mind that we all use mobile phones 24/7, and we have very good expectation how a mobile application should feel and work. You can start working on that. You don't need fully described and detailed requirements to start working on that. Sometimes we need to innovate. Sometimes we need to sit together as a team and really go deep into domain problem and the business problem and the customer problem and to understand it and then come up with the proper solution. Then you need the entire team, including your product owner. And then the product owner needs to really go deep into the business problem and figure out and write it down properly, because it might be a really complicated problem. But that's not an everyday job. So bottom line is that there are more knowns than unknowns, and you only need a product owner to prioritize some of them, shorten the sprints, limit the risk, and just start working. Have in mind that a good user story is still a bad requirement. It's still useless. You cannot fit proper requirement into one sentence. Acceptance criteria also. You cannot fit proper acceptance criteria into 3 bullets. It doesn't work like that. But the good news is that even if you have crappy user stories and really ambiguous acceptance criteria, the best thing your tester can do to help is to add a decision table in your user story description. Many product owners don't know what a decision table is. All testers know what a decision table is, and it's a brilliant tool to reveal ambiguities, omissions, and contradictions and problems with poorly written user stories. Just add the decision table in your user story description. The other thing you need to do is just limit the scope for your refinement meetings. As a tester, I have felt as if my time was totally wasted when our team was presented with 8 to 12 user stories to refine for 1 hour. It's not physically possible, and it's a waste of time. And then, of course, there will be underestimates. And of course, the team will not respect the product owner. And of course, the team will never have sense of urgency. You cannot commit to 8 to 12 user stories when you don't have time to properly refine them. However, engineers are brave people, and they will commit because they'll figure it out. Otherwise, it's embarrassment for them. They will commit, but it's not realistic. So limit your refinement meetings to not more than 3 user stories. On the top of the slide, you see a link to a framework in Miro for refinement meetings. Give it a try. It will turn your poorly written 1-sentence user story into ready for development, thorough, exhaustive, fun to build, engaging requirements. Also, on the side of the team, If you want to make sure that you're working on the right thing and your product owner has really put thought into the priorities and the user stories, keep asking them why. Challenge them, challenge their assumptions. Ask them, why are we working on this? What is the actual customer problem that we're solving with this? Very often, or more often than not, it will turn out that that particular customer problem doesn't even need software, and that user story is really useless. But you need to challenge them to keep asking, why are we working on this, in a very respectful manner, of course. Also, add to your user story descriptions the next two sections: what could go wrong and how to test. If you add what could go wrong as a question during your refinement meetings and as a section in your user story descriptions, it will turn the conversation in a completely different way. You will actually imagine what could go wrong. And it becomes really sad because things that can go wrong are pretty clear, and they're really clear, how they will go wrong. And immediately, from being very brave engineers, immediately imagine how they will have to fix that during Saturday nights. When you ask how to test, you can really help your product owner to come up with measurable acceptance criteria, and you can help as a tester your development team to help you build a proper test environment, have enough data, have proper users, etc., etc. You don't wait for when the code is deployed to the testing environment to ask these questions and to start writing test cases. It's too late. You can do that during the refinement meetings. What other testing skills really elevate product ownership? Testers are curious and empathetic. One of the other first things that we've been taught, especially as manual testers, is to put ourselves in our customer shoes, to imagine where is our user right now, how do they feel right now, what's in their heads right now, are they tired, are they excited? If we imagine our users and and their state and condition when they use our software, we can really come up with creative test cases and really challenge the user stories. We're curious. We always think about what else, what if, what could go wrong. We actually know what could go wrong. And this can really help product owners to come up with proper and more thorough and exhaustive acceptance criteria. If we wait until after the refinement meeting, we generate waste. We have that knowledge, we have that information. We'll share it up front. We're also very thorough. We will come up with as many cases as we could. This is extremely important because product owners don't always have the capacity, and very often they don't have the knowledge. It's a global joke that nobody has seen a non-functional requirement in a user story or as part of the acceptance criteria. We're laughing about it. Yeah, have you seen a non-functional requirement? Do you think that product owners know actually what a non-functional requirement is? Who and when should have they been educated about where? They're usually people from the business. Why would they know what a non-functional requirement is? Testers know what non-functional requirement is. Well, ask them. Ask the product owners, what do you know what performance is? Yeah, it's how fast it is. Well, not only. It's also how resources of the computer and or the server or the browser or whatever are, or the bandwidth are utilized. It's not only how fast it is, it's also how much it takes to be that fast. For example, do you know what maintainability is? Do you actually know what usability is, or we just use it because everybody is using that term? But do we really know what's behind that? So on that screen, on that slide, you also see another mirror board with 55 non-functional, functional, and non-functional quality characteristics. I don't say that you go through all of them for every user story, but make and pick a subset that is relevant for your product and for your features. And ask your product owners during the refinement meetings, which of those non-functional requirements are relevant and you think are relevant for our user stories. Then you will see some of those non-functional requirements as part of your acceptance criteria. But you need to help them understand that there are 55 non-functional requirements. Actually, today, with AI-based systems, there are more even. Nobody knows that. It's the tester, it's within the testing scope to know that, not within the product owner's scope. The other way that testing really can help product owners is the fact that testers are straightforward. We have learned to report clear, concise, and compact bug reports so that it's immediately clear at a glance where the problem is and what the problem is. Especially not so experienced product owners tend to be a little verbose and tend to write kind of long paragraphs, repeating over and over again the same ambiguous, equally ambiguous one sentence of a user story, and completely demotivating development teams to read and comprehend it. Testers can help product owners to streamline their written communication and really come up with proper pieces of requirements in any shape and format. Every piece of requirement needs to be clear, short, concise, but still thorough. What makes a good product owner? Well, nobody knows, because if you read all job descriptions about product owners, you will see things from marketing product owner and sales product owner and business development product owner to customer success product owner, technical product owners, data analytics product owners, and whatnot. It's a full range, and it really depends on the company and the need. But there's a big problem with bad product ownership, and the big problem with bad product ownership is that it generates complete waste. You all know here the curve of fixing bugs later in the life cycle, especially bugs found later in the product life cycle that originate in the requirements. It is indeed very costly. It's almost impossible to fix, actually. So there's kind of a double standard, which is correct. There's no problem with that, but we need to be aware about it. Developers being wrong is part of the job. If the developer is wrong, the tester will catch the bug. If the tester is kind of wrong, although we said that testers can never be wrong, if the tester is wrong, fine, we will release a hot fix or something like that, because we've let production bug escape. But if the product owner is wrong, it's a tragedy. It's a big tragedy, actually. It's bad for the team, because the team would have wasted weeks of work, and then it turned out that the customer don't want it anymore, or nobody has ever wanted it, just the product owner thought it was going to be cool to implement it. And these are real stories, real examples I'm talking about right now. The team is really devastated when this happens. It's bad for the customers and their loyalty, because they feel misled and misunderstood. And it's really bad for the business. And it's a lot of money and effort and time wasted. So it's a really bad when you have not an excellent product owner. It's a high and demanding role. How to be a good product owner? Well, you need to be interested in the business domain. If you're not interested in solving the problems of the domain you're working in, how are you going to inspire the team to solve those business problems, to work hard, to be dedicated and motivated? How you will inspire them? You can't. If you're not interested in the domain and you don't get deep into the domain because you're not interested in it, change the domain and the company, because you cannot do a great job if you're not interested in what you do as a product owner. Seek and develop business clarity. Don't continuously complain that I don't have the priorities by the stakeholders, from the stakeholders. Don't wait for the stakeholders to tell you what the priorities are. Seek the business clarity, enable opportunity, master negotiation skills, find leads if you must to. It's in your hands to manage the product backlog. You cannot wait and lead to backlog starvation and let backlog starvation to happen because you're waiting for priorities. Just take the risk. It's your responsibility. And speaking of responsibility, take responsibility. The product owner must create a safe environment for the team to experiment and learn and work on a little bit of wrong assumptions from time to time. But it's your responsibility as a product owner for your own wrong assumptions. It's not the team. The team needs to feel safe that it's not their responsibility that you have made a wrong assumption. Step up your writing, talking, and technical game. Half of the job of product owner is to write requirements. The other part is to talk during refinement meetings and also to facilitate. Today, in the era already of AI and online courses and whatnot, it's absolutely no excuse to not step up your technical skills a little bit. You can learn a little bit about services, you can learn a little bit about JavaScript, you can learn a little bit about databases. That's the absolute minimum for a product owner. And again, depending on the company, there might be other stuff, but you need to invest in getting technical. Otherwise, the team will never respect you. If you're too technical, that's also a problem. I have experienced that, but that's another story. Because I said so is not an argument. Imagine you're at a customer meeting and you're negotiating scope and time and deadlines with your customer. Imagine you as a product owner telling to your customer, we will not do that within that period because I said so. Can you imagine it? I hope that you cannot, because it's ridiculous. Nobody will talk like this to their customer. Well, the team is your customer if you're a product owner. You can never say this to your team. You need to inspire and motivate and argument and properly, clearly articulate your arguments, clearly articulate your rationale, clearly explain why are we doing this and why are we making this or that decision. I have said because I said so once, and it was ugly. And I said it because the team could get into an argument 2 hours talking about the position of a button or something like that. And I also got excited and I said it only for the sake of moving forward. But it was really ugly and you don't ever do that. The product owner needs to be facilitator because the team needs a little bit of discussion on something silly. It eases the tension. It makes them feel more confident and relaxed. It might sound as discussing something really silly, but the team needs that. It's good for their mental health and for the tension. It's actually good. What the product owner must do is to channel the energy into a productive discussion and evaluate pros and cons and ask a lot of questions and let the team talk a little bit, but in a very well-mannered and channeled direction. Because I said so is a forbidden saying. A good product owner will inspire the engineering team with challenging engineering problems, with challenging business problems. The good product owner will be able, with that one sentence, to start a conversation. The one sentence user story is a conversation starter. It's not a signed off requirement. And the role and the good product owner will use that one sentence to spark the conversation. A good user story will be able to motivate the team, will be able to explain and articulate the priorities, will be able to align, it's a cliche, but a good product owner will be able to align the team needs with the business goals. You have to explain why are we doing this and why is it important, and you have to show the team how they contribute to the big picture, that they're not just executors. And because the team is not just executors, you need to engage them in defining the requirements. You need to engage them in making decisions about the incremental delivery strategy, and make decisions and be really clear about the assumptions they will work on, and be transparent with them and authentic, and don't try to ever manipulate them. It's really, really bad when it happens. I really hate it. Engage the team into defining the requirements and the plan to deliver them. And last but not least, connect with the team. The product owner must be part of the team. If the product owner feels they're not part of the team, it's a big organizational problem. And it's actually inherent organizational problem, because in many organizations, it's the product group and the technical teams. Product versus technical, the non-technical people versus the technical people. Unless organizations actually try to work as one team, as one really cross-functional team, those disputes and conflicts will keep happening. So product owners need to find their ways to the team, really empathize with them, understand why some user story will not be delivered today, or why this, or why we have felt that, or why there's more work, and also take responsibility for their own wrong assumptions. Even take responsibility for the team's wrong assumptions, because the team has probably tried to do their best to figure out a solution. Sometimes it doesn't work. It's not the team's fault. It's product owner's responsibility. And for the last, it takes a whole team, a whole cross-functional team to deliver working software. It also takes a whole cross-functional team to define what working software means in our company. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hristina, for this for sharing our valuable learnings with us. So now we can head off with the Q&A. So the first question is here. Let me share. Okay. Product owner play bridge between solution team and development team. Do you think this role is really required if solution manager can directly speak with the team? This role is being generated in agile world, and earlier we have business analyst.
I imagine the solution team would be implementation team, someone that goes to the customers and implementing like integration team, because I haven't been really working in a place where there is another solution team. But I think it's required. Apparently, previously you used to have business analysts. Today we call them product owners. The thing is that the development, the big benefit of having a product person or a product owner is to load off the team, the development team, from a little bit of organizational matters. There are a lot of things that the product owner should figure out before it goes to the team. You don't need to, even though for many years I believe that you don't need product owner. But now I actually think that you don't need to load the team with, overload the team with too much information before it actually becomes, or too much data before it actually becomes information. Meaning that let someone else figure it out, or at least a good portion of it. And then the development team can help clarify and actually define. So I don't know if that answers the question, but you don't need to overload the development team with and the solution team with everything. A single point of contact sometimes work better.
Sure, sure. So I hope that answers. There's another question. How do you reconcile the inherent tension between a product owner's need to deliver features quickly, a QA's focus on thorough testing, especially when the tight deadlines are involved?
Wonderful question. Wonderful. I hoped I tried to answer it in the presentation. I had an item on some of the slides that sometimes it feels as if the product owners compromise quality for the sake of speed. I haven't done it myself. I haven't done it on purpose because I'm a tester by heart. But you really need to make sure you know what a bug is and what bug is important for the customer. Is it something that we feel it's annoying, or is it actual customer problem that will prevent them from doing the work? We really need to be very specific about what quality is and what a bug is. And I'm really in favor of zero bug policies. If we care about a particular problem, we fix it immediately. If we don't care about the particular problem and it's after severity 3, we delete it from the backlog. I don't want to hear about it. Either you fix it or don't ask me about it. So the product owner needs to have a great incremental product delivery strategy, including continuous testing and continuous delivery. But we need to educate product owners that know nothing about testing a little bit. We need to show them, do pair testing with them. Do pair testing with your product owner. Show them how you actually test. They will know better next time. They will have it in mind. You tell them how you're going to test it during the refinement meetings. If you don't estimate testing, and many teams don't estimate testing, then how do you expect that the product owner will appreciate the testing effort? You need to educate them a little bit. Show them how you test. This way, they will really appreciate the effort and maybe prioritize it next time better.
Sure. So, next question will be the last questions as we are running out of time. So, is it possible that that they perceived bad product owners you work with resulted from systematic issues within the organization, such as lack of training or unrealistic expectations? How much responsibility lies within the individual versus the system?
Yeah, we should have selected another question, but
Okay,
because
sure, sure.
no problem, because it's the same lady from the previous question. Some of the audience might. Um, it's individual. What do you mean
Hmm.
organization? If the I believe that we're responsible for our own development. And if someone wants to be a good product owner, they will figure out, or a good tester, or a good developer, or a good teacher, they will learn how to become one, and or they will find a better organization where it will enable them to become a good one. Unrealistic expectations, it's always, every expectation is unrealistic, every deadline is unrealistic. We live in the world of unrealistic expectation, and we need to accept that and deal with it in a pragmatic way, in an incremental way. Lack of training, I don't accept this as an excuse anymore. As I said, no product owner has any excuse nowadays, and no tester even, or no developer, that they lack training. You can find training. The only specific training that a product owner cannot get is proper domain training. But as I said, most product owners come from the business. And when they come from the business, they know the business, they know the domain. What they lack is technical skills. Today, there are no more excuses to not have any sort of minimum technical skills. So I would say it's an individual responsibility, as tough as it might sound.
Sure, sure. So, thank you so much, Christina, for sharing your incredible learnings with us. So, just a quick reminder, all today's session are being recorded and will be available on Lamnetas YouTube channel. And if you have further query, you can ask that on Lamnetas community. We'll be happy to continue the conversation. Thank you so much. Have a great time ahead.
Thank you so much,
Thank
everyone.
you so
Take
much.
care. Bye.